प्रपन्नपारिजाताय तोत्रवेत्रैकपाणये ज्ञानमुद्राय कृष्णाय गीतामृतदुहे नमः. Om. Dear friends, we have completed the fourth chapter in the last episode, and we have seen so far what Krishna talked about the Gyana Yoga, that is Sankhya, and what he talked about Karma Yoga, and what he talked about different forms of yajna. Yajna refers to any type of socially useful activity. He is not simply referring to a ritual. So all those things we have seen. So at the end of the fourth chapter, Krishna made an observation that sannyasa was something which is superior. And what is the sannyasa? Sannyasa is renunciation of all types of actions. A karma yogi does some action. A karma yogi does action, say, with Ishwararpana buddhi. Ishwararpana buddhi means that he doesn't ask the fruit of the action. He doesn't aspire for the fruit of the action, but then he acts according to the divine will. He puts himself in the shoes of the Lord in whatever manner you want to say. You can say like that. He acts according to the divine will for the welfare of society. So that is what is called Loka Sangraha. So we have seen those things in chapter 3 and chapter 4. So at the end of chapter 4, Krishna was saying that Jnana, the path of Jnana, was superior. The path of Jnana means the path of sannyasa. Jnana not merely not by a person who is in the karma yoga, but a person who is a sannyasi, a person who has renounced all types of actions. So and then he is on the Jnana path. So Arjuna gets a doubt, which is a rather valid doubt. So he is asking, Sannyasam karmanam Krishna punar yogam cha shamsasi. That is the first starting line of this chapter 5. He says, you have sometimes praised karma yoga and sometimes you are praising Jnana yoga. You tell me what exactly is better course. So that is what he says. So philosophically speaking, at a theoretical level or at the doctrinal level, there is no confusion. At the doctrinal level, karma yoga is only a means, a particular step. Like you want to get on to say a particular roof, you need a ladder. In that ladder, the first step is say karma yoga. The next step is something like Atma Samyama yoga, which we are going to see later. And the next step is some dhyana, meditation, etc. And the next step is jnana. So this karma yoga, doctrinally speaking, it is at a lower level. There is no confusion about it. But because Krishna said Jnana yoga is superior, then Arjuna is getting a doubt. Krishna has not made he has not talked in any confusing manner, but then Arjuna wants a further clarification. So for that, Krishna says, both strategies are good, but for you or for the majority of the people, 99% of the people, karma yoga is what is suggested. Because he says here, sannyasa karma yogasya nishreyasa kara ubhau. Both sannyasa and karma yoga, they are both in the right path. They actually, both of them lead to the ultimate goal called liberation. Tayostu karma sannyasat karma yogo vishishyate. Of these two, say in comparison with this karma sannyasa, that is relinquishing all actions, giving up all actions, renouncing all actions. In comparison with that, karma yoga is better. So that is what he says. Why does he say that? That is because what is the objective of Krishna? Krishna's objective is not to make Arjuna a sannyasi. In fact, we have seen in the beginning of 4th chapter, Krishna made it very clear that Gita was not told for sannyasis. Because nowadays we find Gita, if you find Gita, people will doubt you. People will doubt that you have become very, very unmanly, you have become quite old, you have become senile. So that is what people will think. So Gita was not told for old people. Gita is not for retired people. So Krishna made it very, very clear in the beginning of the 4th chapter that, what did he say? Imam vivasvate yogam proktavanaham avyayam vivasvan manave praha, etc., etc. He said, idam evam parampara praptam imam rajarshayo viduhu. He said, I have taught this to say son. The son told to Vivasvan, he told to his son Manu, he told his son. And then it came down in the lineage of great kings called Rajarshis. So it is something which is told to kings, it is something which is told to rulers, the people who are very much men of action. So that is the first thing we have to remember. Gita is not for old people, Gita is not for retired people, etc. Gita is for people who are very much in this world, who want to perform their action in a more effective way. So here, why is Krishna saying between these two, that is between sannyasa and karma path? No doubt at the level of doctrine, at the absolute level, Gyana Yoga is supreme, because that is the highest goal. But then for you or for 90% of the people, because this whatever we find in the Gita is not merely for Arjuna, it is for all of us. Because in the very beginning of the Bhashyam, or the very beginning of the commentary, the commentator has commented, Arjunam nimitti krutya. Arjuna is only a pretext. Arjuna is only a pretext. We are all the audience. He is not the only audience, we are all the audience. So here, why is he praising that? So that is because there are two levels of sannyasa in those days. In fact, first of all, we have to know what is the sannyasa. Why this sannyasa is at all? Because nowhere in the world do they have this, say practice called sannyasa. It is only in all these Asian societies that we have this sannyasa. In all other societies, there is no such thing as sannyasa, karma sannyasa or any such thing. It is only in Hinduism, Buddhism, wherever Buddhism and Hinduism have spread, and even in China, all these places, this we have got this system called sannyasa. Why has this been told? That is, we have defined the human goals. What are the human goals? What is called dharma, artha, kama and moksha. Moksha is the ultimate goal, that is the liberation, or liberation is only possible by knowing one's own self. So if one has to know what is his own self, if one has to find out what is the nature of the ultimate, what is the nature of supreme reality, he should not be bound by any regulations, he should not be bound by any prejudices. Prejudices relating to, we have got so many prejudices. I have got so many prejudices relating to caste, relating to religion, relating to country. I have got so many prejudices. With all these prejudices in mind, with all my anger and hatred for a person of another sect, of a person of another religion and all that, I will not be able to think openly. I will not be able to think freely. So a person who is in this path of jnana, he has to go beyond this. He has to rise above all these dualities. He has to rise above his likes and dislikes, what is called raga and dvesha. That is why he is said to be sannyasi. He is said to be a person who goes beyond all our transactional, all the norms relating to our transactional life. That is, all the norms means, for it may be something to do with varna, it may be something to do with ashrama. So varna ashrama, ati varna ashrami, a jnani is said to be a person who rises above all these things. So he is called ati varna ashrami. So that is how it is only then that he can think of the absolute in a cool manner. If his mind is full of prejudices, if his mind is getting attracted by what his religion says or what his grandfather says, he cannot think in a very free manner. So this examination of one's own self, or examination of what is the supreme reality, it is similar to our scientific quest. A scientist cannot have, a scientist has to observe what exactly he finds, and he cannot be guided by what religion says, he cannot be guided by what his grandfather says. So similarly, a person who is in the quest for truth, here the quest for truth means truth relating to the absolute reality. So this man also has to go beyond all that. So a jnani surely has to give up all these things and then he has to go beyond. So that was supposed to be the ultimate goal of human life. So from that point of view, some people who actually were in that path, they used to totally give up this, totally give up all types of activities. So that was called vidvat sannyasa. That is a person who attains jnanam, who attains realization, and then he gives up all actions. But then there may be some others who want to pursue that path and then want to give up. And then want to give up means give up all types of, it is as a sort of preparatory stage, as a sort of preparatory stage to the jnana, preparatory stage to this path of knowledge. They want to give up, and then okay, they just give up, but then they have not yet attained that chitta shuddhi. You see, only a person who has attained that chitta shuddhi can give up all these things. But then as a sort of preparatory step, he wants to give up all actions, and then still he is also in the path of practicing this chitta shuddhi, shama, dama, etc., etc. So for that is called a preparatory level sannyasa. So, in sannyasa we see two levels told in Gita and also in generally in other textbooks. That is, one at the absolute level, a realized person who has given up all actions, and a person who wants to be in that path and who gives up all actions. That is called Vividisha sannyasa. That is, in quest of knowledge, as a sort of preparatory step for knowledge, he is giving up actions. So, here when Krishna says between the karma sannyasa and karma yoga is better, then we have to understand, we have to say understand it in this way. That is, whose karma yoga is better than what type of sannyasa? Karma yoga is certainly not better than the absolute sannyasa or a sannyasa of a jnani, but karma yoga is better than the preparatory level sannyasa. Karma yoga is better than that preparatory level sannyasa, where the person is not yet a realized person, the person is not yet, he has not yet achieved that level of chitta shuddhi, etc. At least karma yogi is on the path of chitta shuddhi, he has attained some chitta shuddhi. So, that is how this particular line has to be understood. This second shloka, when Krishna says that karma yoga is superior to knowledge, he is just patting Arjuna on the back, because Arjuna Krishna's objective is not to make him a sannyasi. His objective is to tell him what is his dharma, what is his duty as a king, as a Rajarshi. Arjuna is supposed to be a Rajarshi. So, he has to, Krishna has to just give a pat on his back and tell him that he has to be on the path of action. So, that is how this passage continues. This shloka, in fact, the next few shlokas also, it continues like that. And the third shloka also it says, karma yoga jneyasya nitya sannyasi yona dveshtina kankshati nirdvandvo hi mahabaho, etc., etc. He says, karma yogi also, he practices, he consciously practices the qualities of a jnani. He may be doing his day-to-day activity, he may be doing all his say karma. Karma means we have to be again very, very clear that it does not relate to our say routine activities like going to an office and working for a livelihood, etc. Karma relates to various types of ritual actions, etc. Various type of socially interactive actions, where there is some sort of interface with other people, where you are able to do some good or bad to the people. So, that's those sort of activities which have an interface with the people. Then Krishna continues to say that both Sankhya and Yoga, they are said to be different. People say out of ignorance that these two things are different, but then these two are one and the same, because karma yoga is something like say it is a tool for the higher class. Karma yoga is a lower class and Gyana yoga is a higher class. So, here of course say we have to understand the difference between what is this karma yoga and jnana path. So, jnana is something which directly reveals the nature of truth. Suppose I want to see some object in front of me. In order to see this pencil, so my tool is my eye. So, if my eye is clear, if my eye has no defect, etc., so I can see this pencil. Suppose that my eye is defective, what should be done? If the eye is defective, then I have to take some medicine for the eye. I have to go to a doctor. If there is some problem like a cataract or something like that, I have to get rid of it, and then again I can see this. So, which means the medication which I take or the surgery which I may undergo, so all these things, this medication is needed for purifying the tool, purifying the means, purifying the pramana. So, but then the knowledge of this, the final understanding of this thing comes only through this pramana and not through that medicine. Medicine is needed to purify my eye, but then medicine is not needed to see this thing. Medicine cannot help me to see this. Medicine is needed to purify the eye. So, that is the difference between karma yoga and the path of jnana. So, this is something which is we have to understand. So you suppose you take another example, something like you are shooting something, you are shooting with a rifle in your hand. So, first of all you have to clean the barrel of that rifle. Unless you clean the barrel of the rifle, the bullet may not go properly. You have to clean the barrel properly, and you have to clean the sight properly. If the sight is not proper, then again you may look at see something and then hit something else. So, all this cleaning has to be done first, and then only you have to aim and then pulling the trigger, etc. That is the last action. So, this cleaning process is what is called karma yoga. So that is why karma yoga is said to be chitta shuddhi karakam. That is something which is there for purifying the mind, because unless that mind is purified, without a clear mind and without a pure mind, one cannot get on to the next level, next path called the Jnana path. Yat Sankhyaih prapyate snanam tad yogairapi gamyate. He is still praising this karma yoga, just giving a pat on say on the back of Arjuna, saying that this is quite good. Yat Sankhyaih prapyate, whatever is attained by people who are in the path of jnana, it is attained by the people who are also in the path of yoga. That is karma yoga. So that is what he says. Then yoga yukto manir brahma nachirena adhigachyati, etc. And then yoga yukto vishuddhatma vijitatma jitendriyah sarvabhutatma bhutatma kurvanna pinalipyate. Now he is saying how this karma yoga, after attaining this chitta shuddhi, he is going to the next higher level called jnana. So he says yoga yuktaha, that is associated with this yoga or karma yoga, vishuddhatma, whose mind has been purified, whose antahkarana has been purified, then such a person, he will be able to see sarvabhut atma bhutatma. He will be able to see himself in everybody and everybody in himself. Sarvabhut atma bhutatma. He sees everybody as his own self. That is, he has a sort of an unconditional love for all beings. So sarvabhuta, not merely human beings, he loves all the beings equally as he loves himself. So that is another quality which is actually the quality of a jnani. A karma yogi also, over a period of time, he will develop the qualities of a jnani. So that is what he says. Then the next couple of shlokas, they talk about the approach of a jnani. How does a jnani view life? How does a jnani look at things? So this is something which is say quite interesting. So he says naiva kinchit karomiti yukto manyeta tattvavit. So he is a sannyasi. We are now talking about a sannyasi, a jnani. So how does he look at things? Naiva kinchit karomiti yukto manyeta tattvavit pashyan shrunvan sprushan jighran ashnan gachan swapan shwasan. There is a long list of all the activities we do in life. That is, pashyan, we just see; shrunvan, we listen; sprushan, you touch something; jighran, you smell something; and then ashnan, you eat something; gachan, swapan, shwasan, etc. You are walking, you are sleeping, you are breathing, you are doing all types of sleep, talking, pralapan, visrujan, grunhan, you are eating something, you are talking. All these activities, say all these activities are described here. So while doing all these activities, what is the approach of a jnani, or what is the attitude of a jnani? So that is, Krishna says, this jnani is somebody who is not identifying with all these actions. So he is very clear in his mind that indriyani indriyartheshu vartanta iti dharayan. So these indriyas, which are another form of the five elements, so they are going after the five elements. If my eye is looking at something, okay, my eye is a product of this light, a product of what is called tejas, and then it is actually seeking out the same thing in the external world. So then some other indriya, it is seeking out something else, a corresponding element in the external world. So indriyani, these sense organs, they are seeking the external objects, but the notion of the I am something which is different. I am not the body-mind complex. So he is at that level of understanding. He is not identifying himself with the body-mind complex. So that is what is the vision. So in fact, such shlokas actually, they are meant for say meditation actually. They are meant for reflection, because all the Swamijis, what they say is, they read this particular shloka. If you go to some meditation session, so what does the teacher do? Somebody who is some Swamiji or somebody who is teaching meditation to you, he says, naiva kinchit karomi iti yukto manyeta tattvavit. Okay, you meditate on this line. That is, I am not doing anything. I am not the doer. So there is some action, but there is no doer. There is an action, you are performing something, but you are not the doer. So in fact, this can be a sort of great say stress reliever. In fact, I personally, my own personal experience is that when I was extremely stressed, when I was very, very busy in my work, suppose you are very, very busy in your work, say. So, even in that very busy work, suppose you think you just have this 2-3 lines on your table, and then you reflect on this, naiva kinchit karometi yukto manyeta tattvavit. So, you just keep reflecting on that for a few minutes, then your stress will go. So, this will be a sort of stress buster. In fact, if you just understand the meaning of this properly, if you just read the type of commentary which is there under it, and then if you also just meditate on it, on this, or reflect on this, then it will be a great stress reliever. This is actually my personal experience here. Then he also says, he goes on further, Krishna goes on further to talk about Brahmanya adhaya karmani sangam tyaktva karoti yaha lipyatena sa papena padmapatram ivambhasa. We also listen about say the comparison of a jnani with say a drop of water on a lotus petal. Suppose there is a raindrop on the lotus petal. It is there, it is very much there on the lotus petal, but it is not connected to that. It is totally unconnected with that. So, Padmapatram ivambhasa, this Padmapatram is having water. Padmapatram is the lotus say petal. So, it is having water on it, but it is not stuck to that water. So, the jnani, in Telugu we say tamaraku paina niti buttu, something like that. So, you are not stuck to that, you are doing action, but you are not stuck to action. Brahmanya adhaya karmani, that is, you are doing action with that Ishvara arpana buddhi. I am following the order of the Lord, I am putting myself in the shoes of the Lord. So, with that say attitude in mind, you are performing action. So, this is how say Krishna continues to encourage Arjuna to be on the path of Karma Yoga. We will continue in the next episode. Thank you. Harihi Om Tat Sat.